With over 26 years experience working with sounds and making sample packs, you better believe that I put a lot of love and a lot of energy into these sounds and into these patterns. I specifically put together these packs so that you would have all of the sounds that you need to get started writing your own beats, grooves, and sketches inside of the model samples. You've got everything you need here, from kick drums, snare drums, hats, percussion, melodic sounds, basses, stabs, chords. It's all here. Everything you need to write your own grooves and sketches and beats from the ground up is included.
Electronisounds Audio, the YouTube channel for you.
Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Dean from Electronisounds. Stick around. Today, I'm really excited to share with you 9 new sound banks that I've put together for the Elektron Model samples. These banks feature over 1,900 new sounds, and they feature all of the sounds that you'll need to start writing new beats, grooves, and sketches in your model samples. Come on, let's get into this. For those of you who aren't already familiar with me and my company Electronisounds, I've been putting out sound banks and sample packs since 1994. A few years ago, I absolutely fell head over heels in love with the workflow of the Elektron Digitact sampling drum machine, and I put out 7 sound banks for this machine. A few years later, and my love for Elektron has only grown, and now I've got 2 model samples that I've been putting together all of these sound packs with. Let's hear some of these sounds. The first pack that we're going to check out today is the Bass Music Drums pack. Now this pack features 750 drum samples that were all created from scratch. You get 250 kick drums, 250 snare drums, and 250 hi-hats. You also get 32 patterns to get you up and running and to show you what kind of beats these sounds are useful for making. Check this out. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about how to install these sound banks. Some of these sound banks contain patterns, and some of these sound banks are samples only. There's a little bit of a difference in the installation, and let's check that out at this time. We're going to go ahead and start installing these in order, in alphabetical order rather. And the first pack then is Bass Music Drums. This pack features patterns and also samples. So once you've got the download of all of the packs, you'll need to go ahead and have that open on your computer, and you'll need to also have the transfer software installed on your computer from Elektron. When you go ahead and open this up and get connected to your unit, the very first window says drop files here, WAV, AIF, ZIP, and sysx. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be dropping the first sysx file into the model samples. What we need to do is we need to start by creating a new project inside of the model samples. So I'm going to click the wrench icon, and I'm just going to scroll over until it says project. I'm going to press down on the level data knob, and I'm just going to choose an empty project inside of the model samples. Any of your empty projects is fine. We'll go ahead and click the button, and we're going to go ahead and load that. If you need to make any save to your current project, you'll do that at this time. And it's going to go ahead and initialize and load up a blank session. Fantastic. This is what we want. Now we want to go ahead and grab the Bass Music Drums bmd.sysx file, and we want to drag and drop that onto the transfer app. Over here on the model samples, it's receiving the different patterns that are inside of this bank. Now it says received settings, and all we need to do is give this pattern, project rather, a name. Now we'll need to save it inside of the model samples. So if I click on that particular project and scroll over to save, it's gonna, by default say new and give me the opportunity to label this. This is the first one here is Bass Music Drums. So I'm going to go ahead and just label this project BMD for Bass Music Drums. B, M, and D for Bass Music Drums, and then I'm going to click the knob again, and it's going to ask me, do I want to save the project as BMD? I say yes, and there we go. Now the actual sysx is in the unit, and all I need to do now is drop the samples from this pack into the model samples. We're going to go ahead and up here in the upper right hand corner, we're going to click the tab that says explore instead of drop, and here is the root folder of my samples. Inside of the model samples currently, I've already got the folder of samples here, but if I didn't, I would just grab it and drag it and drop it into the root directory of my model samples, and we let those samples transfer over. Now the next pack is the Bassworks pack, and this pack does not have any patterns. It only has sounds. So you would go ahead and just grab and highlight that and drag it and drop it onto the root folder inside of your transfer app here, and that's going to drag those Bassworks samples into your model samples. The same thing is true for the Chordz pack. It's just a folder of samples. There are no patterns in this pack. So we would grab the folder of Chordz and we would drag it and drop it into the root directory of our model samples using the transfer app. Let's see here. The next pack is the Dirty Tech Drums pack. And this pack not only has sounds, but it also has patterns. So let me go ahead and walk you through how we do this one more time. We start by opening up a new project in the model samples. Any of the new project slots will be fine. We'll go ahead and load that new project up. And we're going to go back up here in the upper right of the transfer app, and we're going to make sure that we're on the drop window. This is so we can drop the sysx file that contains the patterns into our model samples. I'm going to drag and drop the Dirty Tech Drums DTD sysx file over here, and that's going to import all of the patterns from Dirty Tech Drums into the model samples. It says that it's receiving the patterns, and when it's done, it'll say receiving settings, and then it'll go back to the default screen. All we need to do is just go ahead and save this project. So we'll go ahead and click the button, scroll over to save, and click yes. It'll bring open a little window for us to label that. Now this is the Dirty Tech Drums pack, so I'm just going to label this DTD. So we're going to go D T and D. Fantastic, DTD, and we'll save that project. And now we have all of the patterns for this project inside of the model samples. And now we just need to drag the samples instead of the sysx into the model samples. So if we go back to the Explore tab in the upper right, now we can drag the DTD folder of samples into the root directory on our model samples. And now we can scroll through these patterns as we need. So basically, if you have a pack that is just samples, you need to make sure that you're in the Explore tab, which is the second tab of the transfer app. And when you want to drop the sysx, which is the file that contains the patterns, you need to create a new project in the model samples, then you drag over the sysx, and then you save that new project with that name. Then you'll drop over the samples separately using the Explore tab. So if it's a sysx file, you want to be in the Drop tab, and if it's the folder of samples, you want to be in the Explore tab. I hope that's clear, and if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot me an email, and we'll get you sorted. Next up, let's check out some of these sounds from the Bassworks pack. Now, there's no patterns inside of this pack. There's 350 bass sounds only. Let's take a listen to some of these bass sounds. There's basses here in every single root note, so that no matter what key you're writing in, there's going to be some basses that'll slot right into your grooves without a whole lot of pitch changing. With 350 bass sounds, you're sure to find the right sound that you need every time. Now, I just want to stress that all of the sounds and all of the samples in these packs and all of the patterns are all 100% license-free and royalty-free. So you can use all of the beats and all of these sounds inside of your commercial music without any worrying about licensing or royalty fees. The next pack we're going to take a look at is the Chordz pack. Now, this pack features 125 different chord stabs. Check these out. The next pack we're going to check out is the Dirty Tech Drums pack. Now this pack features 100 samples in total and 16 patterns. These patterns are all at 125 beats per minute. Let's check these out. This next sound bank is called Drum and Bass Fuel. It features 163 samples and 16 patterns. Let's give these patterns a listen. This next sound bank is called FM Tekno Percussion, and it features 100 samples. These samples were all created using FM synthesis. In fact, many of these sounds were created in the Elektron digitone and the Elektron Model cycles. Let's check out these sounds. This next pack is called Melodix, and it features 128 samples. You get 64 bass sounds, and you get 64 synthesizer sounds. All of the sounds are tuned to the root note of C so that they're really easy to work with. Let's check out some of these sounds. This next pack is called Rank Stank Kicks, and it features 100 of the most nasty, distorted, filthy techno kick drums that I could create. Let's check into these. The last pack in this bundle is triple digit drums, and it features 155 drum samples from the Roland 606, 626, 707, 808, and 909. These are my favorite sounds from those machines, and I've made 16 patterns for you to go ahead and get started. Let's check these patterns out.
your homies. That's kind of cool. That's kind of nice.